welcome to GraftCast, the show where we talk to business leaders about their professional journeys. Today, we have an entrepreneur on the show, Nishil Solanki, and he talks about his professional journey and exiting a business that he created with two other founders.
Is it also being in the BBC, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lots of things about media, working with some of the biggest companies around. And enjoy the show.
Stay tuned.
What we're going to do is we'll do the intro and outro at the end when you're not here.
Yeah, man.
So it'll make me feel a lot more comfortable about it. Yeah. So, Nish, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. You all right?
I just swallowed my gum. I didn't want to put it in the bin. I swallowed it.
That's such a good start. We'll keep that one in. Right. Okay, cool. Have you always been entrepreneurial?
Have I always... You know what? I think yes. Yeah, man. One of the earliest things that I remember doing in... this might be way before your time, but there used to be something called CDs, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I think I read about them in books.
Yeah. So, back in secondary school, it was like the first business adventure. And I learned a really valuable lesson in this, actually, right? So, I would make copies of CDs. I'd go to HMV, and I'd buy the latest Eminem album. I think there was 1 year I bought the latest Britney album, and I'd take it home and I would copy it onto a blank CD, and then I would go and return it and I'd get my money back, and then I'd go in again. I should do that loads. And then I would make loads of copies and I'd just sell them to people in school. And I had some people that were just always wanting the CD, and I'd make money out of it. Yeah, I think I was making I can't remember what, about £5-6 for an album. I was doing really well. That's the first time I'd say that I did anything remotely entrepreneurial, and it was all just about just wanted to make money. That was the driving factor, right? More school money. I spent all the money in the canteen on sweets and stuff, but I learned a really valuable lesson at that time. And it was there was a lady, her name was Tarandeep, and I'm saying her name because it's because of her I learned this lesson. She came in as so think about it. She's the competitor, yeah? She comes out of nowhere, blindsided me, yeah? And suddenly I start to realize that everyone's getting their CDs off of somebody else, cheaper, but also it was packaged better. She actually printed the cover.
Oh,
she built so it actually felt like the actual CD itself. And I just remember thinking like that, going, wow, okay, cool. So she's undercut me on the price by £5. The product is way better. I can't even fathom how to do the cover. I'm just gonna give up. I just accepted defeat. So I had 6 months of making back, and then I just gave up. But I remember that because now in hindsight, when you asked me that question, I probably didn't realize it then, but I was definitely driven by something, right? So what is entrepreneurship? I think for me, it's being driven by something that is commercially viable, creating something, building something from the ground up. And I think everybody does it in their own unique way. It's just at some point, I think everybody finds this moment where it's just yes, I do have that spirit in me, and I am willing to hone it, train it, and really invest time and energy into it. I would say, honestly, for me, I've only really been leaning into that properly, I'd say, for the last 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. Maybe longer than that, actually, maybe 7. But yeah.
And has it always been sort of media, music, that sort of...
Mate, my passion, my passion has always been anything entertainment. Music's always been a constant for me. And there was a moment, probably when I was at uni, where I was just my dream job is to work at Radio 1. That is my dream job. And I want to go and do it. I don't want to be on front of things. I want to be behind a thing. I want to make it all happen. And I've always been driven by, I've always loved the music. I've always loved creative expression. And I've just, I don't know what it was, man. You were talking earlier about you didn't know what it was necessarily about going into the world of social, but you just wanted to do it and you just did it. And I think there's a level of just sometimes when you're young, you're just so naive. You just go, I just want to go there and just go on that journey, and you just go for it, right? But yeah, man, music's always been a thing for me. I've always loved it and wanted to be around it.
And then was there a person at all that was a role model, or someone in the music industry that you wanted to be like?
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know whether it was like about nah, I don't think so. Look, man, like I think I don't think it for me was ever about wanting to be anybody specifically or anything like that. I think it was more about like they became they were like people that were in an industry that I just thought was very interesting. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to somebody yesterday, a really good friend of mine who's a coder, and he said something to me. I was just like, I just saw websites and I just thought, I just want to build websites. And for me, I can't fathom why anybody would want to sit there and write code, but he loves it. Like for him, it's as creative as what it is for you guys to do this. It's as creative as what it is for me to do something else. So I think everybody finds their thing. I don't think for me it was ever about like wanting to, like there was like an idol per se.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go for it. I just loved the idea of it, and I was naive enough to go on the journey, and it just so happened that the journey's been very, very fun up until now, Yeah.
I think I always felt like through you see different people, successful people like yourself and other people doing different things in business, where like normally through school, like the educational system, not necessarily, but the education system and things like that didn't really like, it's hard to grip to.
Yeah.
I found the same. I found it wasn't until I was in like even to school, to college, to uni, I didn't actually like anything academic.
Yeah.
And I feel like you see a lot of people kind of like that, where people think they're like wayward or distracted, but it's just sometimes things like that don't stimulate them. It's not until you find something which you can get your teeth into.
Oh, mate, I like when I think about my time at school, I was not academic, dude. Like I just wasn't. Mate, my grades were like, I was lucky if I was getting C's. I was lucky. And it wasn't because of like, I just wasn't intelligent. It's because it was just a lack of application. I just wasn't driven to like sit there and focus, right? And that's not throwing shade at anyone in particular. That's just what the system is and how the system was designed, right? So if I look back at it now, like, actually turns out I ain't stupid. Yeah. I'm actually pretty like, like I can apply myself, right? And going through school, for me personally, I did genuinely carry this thought, which was, I'm just not intelligent.
I had that too, yeah.
I had that too, yeah.
Crap, what am I going to do? And then I actually felt really entangled in that. And it took me a real long time. It took me going through uni twice, not once, but I had to do it all again, right? And it was only in that second time of uni where I think things clicked. I had this, like my first year at my second uni was like, I got this grade and it was like an A+, and I gave my everything for that, man. And that was the moment. It was just like, oh, actually, I tell you what, your boy ain't that bad, And it's really interesting because I've got two stepkids at the moment that are like, one's just come off of uni doing journalism and the other one's just like going through uni now. And I'm getting some of those grades that they get in. I can't comprehend them. They're like numbers and stuff. And it's just so weird. It's so
strange,
crazy.
Yeah.
But I get the sense from them as well, right? So they are looking at grades, and so I don't get the feeling that's necessarily changed. But it sounds like it's been the same thing for you too. Right?
Yeah,
sounds like you guys have had a similar journey in that.
Yeah.
I feel like the educational system, isn't it? Because it's so important. At the end of the day, you could have all the skills in the world, but without application. But I was thinking of the concept of not really like when it comes to like running a business. You don't really. Yes, you can do business at school. I didn't do business at school, but they don't really teach you anything about how to actually like properly run a business.
Yeah.
Like I think the important fact, because at the end of the day, like if we were all millionaires, we wouldn't. If we didn't have to work, we wouldn't work. So we all have to do it. So I was thinking the most important thing, if you can make work not feel like work to yourself, that's the most important factor. And if at the end of the day, running a business is a great indicator that yes, you can find a job which really fulfills you, which is great. But 9 times out of 10, it's running your own business. So I don't know why they don't push that more.
Yeah, but I think that you touched on something I think is really interesting, right? Which is being led by passion. And by the way, like, there's no right or wrong way to do anything. It just feels like what feels right for you, right? Some people are very happy to just get straight into a job and be driven by a job role. That's great, right? But some people might want something different. For me, I can only talk for me, and it sounds like it's what you were saying, but like being driven by passion is the thing that ignites me, that goes wicked. So when I'm passionate about music, that's why I feel like Radio 1, that's where I want to be. Like, I want to get there. When I've been in situations where I feel like that passion doesn't exist, I'm a very different individual. Like, it gets very different. But I think that, like, where the school system probably didn't work for me, or I never probably tapped into it if it was there, was like seeing that and trying to find ways that I can delve more into that. The other thing, just to be really candid and brutal and honest about it, is I come from, my mum and my dad are a generation of individuals that left their home country to come here in their 30s. They had to like turn their back on their own dreams to start afresh here, right? So there's a level of expectation that comes from that, quite rightly so, which is you need to be educated because we gave up everything to be here. So you need to, and I get that. So I think that like the circumstances are different for everybody, right? But I do think that either you want to be led by passion, and with that, it's probably likely to be your own business, or the type of business you choose to be involved in has to marry up to that. Yeah. And that's always quite difficult and challenging and quite competitive. Or you're willing to just go into an industry and kind of surrender to whatever is there. Both are totally viable, and many people are very successful in either route. It's just knowing which path makes sense. Some, like, quite often you don't get that in the education system. And more importantly, some people just never find it, if they do find it, which is the sad thing.
I think it's just the constant need to just keep trying.
Yeah,
like failure. I think, and I know it's a bit of a cliche now, but you need to like really, because people really don't like. They want to be like, I know, like, it's a good indicator. Me and Hugo discussed yesterday, but like no one likes being shit at something. But unfortunately, in life, you have to start somewhere, and you have to try things to know. Yeah, fair play. Try something. It's like I signed up my dad. I signed up my dad for jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
He's been going for like 2 months now, and I said to him, I've been doing it for like 2 years, and about a year and 3 quarters, and I hated it for 6 months. But I said to him, I said, do it for like 6 months and do it until you can change. You can stop doing it, but you have to give it a go. And that's the whole point. You have to start something new, and you have to find out if you like it or if it's not for you. But you kind of work out what you do and don't like. But that's not going to happen if you don't apply yourself. You can't always be good at everything, and you can't not do something because you look like an idiot. Which no one ever thinks that.
What do you think that gives you though? Like when you go through failure or failures.
Well, I think
like confidence, more confidence.
Yeah, so definitely thicker skin as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll feel more confidence if I've failed at something. I'm trying it again and again and again. And you do get better. That's as easy as that. Like
when if there's one thing that resonates with me and any individual, certainly when it comes to a business setting and it's somebody I want to work with or somebody that like I've ever wanted to like employ or whatever, resilience is something that I need to feel in them, right? Like hunger, drive, and resilience. And I think you're spot on, man. Like, there's certainly a level of confidence that I get if I fail, but it's that feeling of failure when you first get it, right? And then being able to switch that mindset to go, I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Or I'm ready to try another route.
Yeah.
And I've had that loads, man. I don't think a week goes by where I've not had... Mate, like, I was running Facebook ads for something, literally last week, only to realise I'd been running them for 48 hours and it was driving to the wrong URL. I think, oh my God, so basic, man. Yeah. And I when, I was thinking, wasted money and all that traffic gone, all this sort of stuff. But just go...
I think it's also how quickly it can change. So like an example of that is at the beginning of this week, I just, the Monday, I just had a shit day. I just had a shit day.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is what happens. But then that can change literally in the space of a few hours. Like went to and had a really good sort of time in Oxford, or we did some door knocking, which we're finding is really helpful for us. Just knocking on people's doors, having that human interaction and talking to people. You're always going to find someone that's actually interested.
Was
in
that
what
on
you're
the bad
doing.
day, or was that?
That
on
was the day after the bad day. So
Was it?
we
Yeah.
needed to change it
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and there. And how quickly it can change that gives me confidence. To be
Sometimes it doesn't take much, man.
honest, no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like it could be anything from just like an action. And by the way, I'm really into this idea of like like nothing changes unless you do something.
yeah,
So action is almost always the quickest and easiest route to get out of the funk, because trying to rely on mindset shifting alone, totally doable. It's actually quite challenging because you're just relying on thoughts that ain't necessarily yours. They just happen. Like I didn't think to just say this. It just happened, right? So that's why I'm really big on that. Like you have to act. You gotta be in momentum. Like I'm always about momentum and trying to keep the wheels turning on stuff, man. How did we get here? This is fun, isn't it?
No, see,
This is right at the start of the podcast as well. We haven't got to you actually working yet. Like,
oh yeah.
I was thinking, like, this is a tangent.
But,
This is
but I was going to say that it's a really good point on what you just said. When you have momentum to keep going, because we discussed it before. Obviously, if I say anything I shouldn't say, then shut up. But when we discussed before, like this place getting stuff sorted, then an opportunity arose Randy arose in Oxford. Well, Oxford's a lovely place, but it's bloody expensive. But we've through door knocking met an opportunity which makes that really simple. We're thinking, okay, we're probably not the moment we wouldn't think of going to that location until later down the line. But a big opportunity arose now. Okay, let's capitalise on it. And then since other door knocking and other conversations we've had is opening up something else in a different location. We're thinking we won't get these opportunities.
Yeah, this is
in a different way. So it's better take it now. And yes, it does be like, oh, like well, God, something else. Oh, like it's a bit worrying, but sometimes when you have that momentum, it's only because unfortunately, life opportunities don't come. You do have to grab it when you can.
just
But
do
also,
it.
no, go, Hugo,
No,
land
no,
it.
I was just saying, just do it. Like the Nike thing.
Just do it. Yeah. But also, like, I love this saying, man. There's like the things you know you don't know, and the things you don't know right? And if you put that onto like a sheet of paper, like the things you know is like a dot. The things you know is like a little circle. But then everything else is the stuff you don't know. Knocking on doors is stuff that you don't know, right? So like the world of like the possibilities are actually endless in terms of being able to reverse something out of failure, right? The possibilities are endless. The only thing that limits us is just what we think it is, right? And that's why action is so important, right? Because you just got to try stuff and then you'll find something that you get you out or like change your mood or like change something. And we really underestimate that, man. And you're right. It does not take much. You really don't.
But I feel like stuff like that, and especially it changes in a good way. But like it changes you, like doing again, being comfortable. You're gonna be comfortable being uncomfortable, and it really changes your whole personality. I remember like I'll say probably like two years ago. Like I apologise a lot now, but like to have. But I used to be like really bad, scared of everyone.
Really?
Like don't want to piss anyone off. I'm still a tiny bit, but I'm loads better now.
It's absolutely mad that you said that because I didn't notice it, but now you said it. When I first met you, like, and we started working together, that was one thing that I remember from it. You apologised so much, and now you don't.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
I'm just a dick now.
Yeah.
but it does change because I find like even like
What do you reckon's changed?
I think it's just. I think it's definitely a confidence thing. But I was just thinking, like, even it sounds really silly, but even like going the door-to-door stuff, it is a bit awkward because they're there. Normally they're like, oh, fuck off, but like they can't say it because it's rude on the phone and stuff. It can be rude, but in face-to-face, if you're really rude to someone, you could be pretty ballsy. Yeah. And it kind of like you're forcing yourself to kind of. I said to say when people make their content, I said do it ironically. Like, how you doing? You okay? I'm like, I'm never normally listening to enthusiastic, but I'll say it now. Yeah. And you kind of do it overly, but like it just that little switch in your head.
So, like, I think it's interesting to just like go into this a little bit. So, the door knocking is an action to do what? What's the purpose of it? Yeah, it's
Outreach,
basically
yeah.
outreach, just to do right. And like that is knocking on doors to get leads, right? Is one of many tactics, and it probably was the day before you were doing something else and it wasn't quite working and you felt a bit rubbish,
Literally.
right?
Yeah.
But it is about confronting the problem, being willing and vulnerable enough to put yourself out there, knowing that the world is actually quite a caring place. It's probably more caring than you think it is, and people may not be into it, but they'll let you down gently. They'll certainly do it better face to face, right? Because human to human contact will always allow a level of like the L word, the love word, right? They ain't gonna say, "Oh, fuck off" or whatever. Like that's very unlikely. And even if they were, you probably wouldn't want that business anyway. So
Yeah,
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
But again, like it's finding other strategies and methods to get the thing and the desired outcome. Do you know one thing that I remember, one thing I remember so clearly about coming out of uni when I wanted the Radio 1 job was that was what I did. There was a saying in uni, and I don't know whether you guys got it in your courses. What courses did you guys do again?
I did journalism.
I did film production, moving image.
Cool. So I did media production, right? And I did a bit of film, did a little bit of journalism. But my lecturer on the first day when we were all there, he shouted at us and said, "Guys, look to your left, look to your right, look in front of you, and look behind you. Say hi to one of them. One of you will make it in the industry." And I'll never forget that, because it was off the back of a stat, which is loads of people do this thing, which is media related courses, but not many people actually enter and stay in it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it so vividly because when I got to, when I started going through the process of trying to find work, I wasn't doing what everyone else was doing. I actually found who are the people that are making the radio programs that I really love. Let me reach out to those guys. Turned out they love talking to people that really love the shows. You have coffee with them, you build networks, etc. And I was off to the races. So I think that like trying something and knowing that it doesn't work, failure, just have to always constantly try the next thing until you find something that works. And I was very fortunate enough to find something that worked, that got me into the door, and everything just started to unlock itself.
So when was your big break, would you say?
Do you know what? There's this guy, Phil Harris. Never forget this guy, right? I met him. I was doing work experience at a production agency. They're really big now. They're called something else. They were massive at the time. They're an independent production company that at the time, I don't know if it's still the same now, but at the time, they were making the largest proportion of radio output for the BBC that wasn't the BBC. And I just got on really well with Phil. I don't know what it was, but we just got on, and he worked for he worked as one of the producers for a show called 5 Live 606, which is when all the football's done on a Saturday, this radio show takes in live callers from all fans from across all the leagues. And I loved football, still love football. And my big break was him saying to me, "Why don't you come and sit in on a show?" I sat in on that show, I absolutely loved it. And I said, "Mate, I'm coming back again next week just to sit in." And then that was it. And I was off to the races. That is what I'd say my big break was in terms of being able to get to that dream job of Radio 1.
Yeah. I think sometimes all you need is your foot in the door, and you can kind of, as soon as you get that, it allows you to get in further and do other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, certainly in the industry of like creative arts, right? Like, no one's going to give you a paid gig when you're fresh out of uni. That ain't the way it works, man. I think there's one valuable quality that I think is required, and that is trust. When you're going live on the radio, right, the people in that studio, you need to trust every single one of them to deliver output on time, so that the presenter's always got something to say, that you're ready for when the show is yours, and that you don't do anything silly like swear or anything like that. Like, it's so much trust involved, because if you do anything like that, you're off, game over. So like, trust is a really important thing. The only way you get trust is by working with people like early and making it really easy. And the only way you can really do that is got to make tea for people, man. Like, and you got to be a character that people want to be around. Being in the studio for 3 hours, making output is like, it's fun, and it's only fun because everyone in that room is having an amazing time.
Yeah.
And that's what resonates with the audience, because they feel it. Like, they feel that. And I think that happens with any creative output now. It happens with a podcast. If people ain't feeling this,
they won't be watching it now, will they?
Yeah.
After 20 minutes, they won't be watching it.
But I think it's really important, man.
Yeah.
And I think that, you're right. Like, it's like, sadly, that kind of industry is, when your foot is in the door, like, you just have to keep breaking down other doors, and you got to start at the absolute bottom. That's where people will really respect you.
And how resilient did you have to be?
Superman. There was a time, 2011, 2012, I was, again, wasn't earning any money here, I was getting up at 6 to get into London for 9 to do work experience all the way up until about 5, 6 o'clock. Then I'd go to a late night radio show to do work experience on that, and that show would start at 1. So I'd get food and I'd go. I'd help prep for the show. We'd be live on the air from 1 till 4. I'd get home for 5. I'd get 1 hour of sleep, and I'm back on it again. That was me. And I did that easily for a year.
And was passion driving you at that
Man,
point?
I absolutely loved it. Like, 1, I loved it, and 2, there was no stopping me. No stopping me, man. Like, at that time, I don't think people, again, I don't know if this is true, but I felt like I had something to prove. I felt like I had something to prove. I felt like I had to prove to the people that loved me the most at that time that I was going to do something. I was going to make something of myself, and I was going to get to this dream. But what was amazing was I wasn't just proving them, I was proving it to myself.
Yeah.
And the moment I got in there and I got, hey, here's a job, like, we're now going to pay you money. That was like amazing. Like, that was it, man. And then I did that for like 3 years, and I was like, cool, what's the next thing? Because suddenly you go, wow, if I can do that, what else can I do? Like, and if I was able to get from there to here in like 5 years, what can I do in 15 years? What can I do in 20 years? Yeah. And that was always the hardest thing after that. And kind of still is to a degree, right? Like, still trying to, not like trying to figure things out, but I'm always trying to find ways to like improve, grow, be better. So yeah, man.
After the media, what was next?
So, not to go into way too much context at the time, but the landscape of radio at that time was like really changing, right? And my role, I was just becoming pulled more into this world of like content, like creative content. And I really loved it, man. Like, I really enjoyed that. I was doing a lot of it. I was working on big live TV production and running all the social content with the team at the BBC. I loved it. But radio as a landscape at that time, again, think about it, like Netflix was coming out, Spotify was coming. I think Apple just announced that they were going to be doing their own radio thing. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and consumer attention, where people would normally listen to the radio if they weren't in a car, they had loads of choice, right? You go to YouTube, you go to there's all these other things. So that was having an impact on like figures, and content was becoming a thing. So I went to TSB Bank. TSB had bought the rights to the Pride of Britain Awards on ITV, and TSB is a corporate bank, And no, like, I got a lot of love for TSB, but if it wasn't for the fact that, one, the role was, leveraging the brand and how do we make Pride of Britain be a thing? Like, how do we leverage this TV moment, this live event moment? That felt like that was a bit of my bag. I really like that. And also the manager who I work with, Bian, who former Sky content, like my thing's always been, I want to be around people that I can learn from. And there was no better person to learn from than somebody like Bian, who'd been at BT, had been at Sky, who'd built like social teams, social media strategies. Like, she was and still is so amazing. So I went and worked with her for about 2.5, 3 years, and then went solo and then started doing my own stuff. TSB was amazing in that we were really changing internal culture, like, internal banking culture. And you got us lot rocking in with jeans, t-shirt and a hat and, but we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of amazing stuff. And then I went solo, man. And I was working with clients like, I was working with GiftGaff. I was working with Shell. I was working with ITV. I was working with loads of people, man. I did that for a bit. And then that's when the Reboxed journey kicked off. Yeah. And I tell you what it was, right? At that time, I'd been about 3 years into that journey of like building, of like doing, like consulting and helping other agencies with brand strategies and creative and stuff. I'd been doing that, but I just felt like the spark for social had just kind of gone a bit. It was all about, you were paying for the attention. That's where you got the value. Like, the world of organic doesn't exist anymore, right? Don't know what it's like now because I don't really see it, but we were briefly talking about it. Like, it's more like a pay to play, like for any business, right? Yeah. If you don't have ad spend, it's really difficult to drive sales or to drive anything. But if you're looking for just pure branding, the organic is still really good, right? On certain, but it's really hard on those big platforms. So I just got really off it. And I was at a point where I was thinking, I want to go to New York, and I wouldn't mind going to New York and doing marketing, but then I just felt like, actually, I don't even want to do this anymore. Yeah. What's next? And then that's when I met up with Phil and Matt, and they were building Reboxed at the time. It wasn't Reboxed, but that's where the world of Reboxed became a thing.
And what is Reboxed?
What is Reboxed? So Reboxed it's like an e-commerce. It's a platform that allows consumers to buy secondhand tech goods in a way that kind of offers them a more premium experience, right? So if you were to buy a phone on like a Gumtree or an eBay, you're having to go to someone's house and buy something. Or if you buy something online, like from anything, like it doesn't really have a brand packaged experience at that time. So we really loved brand. We all had marketing and brand experience. We also had a fascination and a love for tech. So it just felt like, how do we drive the messaging around secondhand tech being, 1, cheaper, 2, pretty much as good as new, and 3, like better for the planet. So we built this brand called Reboxed. So it's Reboxed Tech, where you can buy and sell. And that's what we did. And look, man, that business is like, it's like a full-on startup, right? Like, we took on investor money. Money literally came in when we got our first office in Brixton. And then COVID hit us. So we navigated all the way through COVID, built the site, spent 3-4 years like really building that site, building that brand. Did some amazing, we've done amazing stuff. Last year was our best year yet. And my thing going into Reboxed was always, I want to build something of my own. And that Reboxed journey's taught me a lot in terms of building something from the ground up. Like taking an idea, building it into a multi-million-pound business, hiring staff, pivoting business ideas. Yeah, man, kind of operationally running a business where like the warehouse is in the other end of the country, and customer service and all the op stuff, mate, I absolutely loved it.
But did you go into it thinking that's what I want to do? I want to be that entrepreneur and run the business, or was this is a great opportunity? I just want to be part of it.
I tell you what interested me, and I'd love to know what interested you guys about doing this, right? But I tell you what interested me. It was the journey. It wasn't really about like where we get to. It was more like we got this fucking idea. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen. We all believe principally. We're all kind of at similar stages in our journey in terms of like, we all want to move away from like the marketing world and actually build something of our own. That's exciting. Let's just go for it. Honestly, if we knew the operational headache that would have come with trying to run a business like that, I don't know whether we would have done it, right? But again, it goes back to the earlier point, which is like there's a level of naivety that comes around these sorts of things where when there's some kind of alignment of vision, like you just go, let's just go for it. Let's just see what happens. Would you say the same say the same for you guys?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's build a box and put studios in it. Yeah.
See what happens. Yeah. See what happens. But there is that, right? And like, it's that saying, isn't it? It's like, it's never about the destination. It's always about the journey. I think it's about the journey and who you're with as well. Yeah. Right. And being with Matt and Phil along that journey, and bless them, like they took on a much heavier weight and burden on the business than I ever did. But like, that is some journey, man. And I'm at a really interesting point, man. So I'm not in the day-to-day anymore, right? So I'm totally removed from the day-to-day, still there to like still there to support the business in any way possible. But for me, it's about now building my own thing, man. And that is where it gets really excited, because where I've just said about the journeys with other people, I'm going solo, baby. So yeah, I'm going solo. So that's kind of where I'm at, man.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
That was absolute quality. And it's actually made me rethink of how we want to sort of structure it going forward, to be honest, because that beginning part when we were just chatting about
vibes is
entrepreneurship.
always the best way, isn't it?
Yeah,
I agree, man.
But that was awesome.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cut.
Well, that was fantastic, wasn't it, Jack?
That was very good, to be fair.
Yeah. What did you enjoy most about it?
It's a great guy to chat to, but I think because of the amount of experience he's got with content, it makes it easier to chat to as well. We already have questions to ask and things. We kind of wanted to bung it off after the first bit because we were just having a great chat about everything. But no, it's definitely really impressive from starting off with we said about the CDs he used to sell at school, and it's just that he has the drive he has. And again, I find a lot of different entrepreneurs and business owners, school is not the best place. Get a passion for something and then you push towards it, which is nice to have that camaraderie, I think.
Yeah, I think we bounced off of each other quite well, and it was almost like at times that he was interviewing us, which was great too. He wants to know, he was actually interested in what we were doing. So no, it's always good. But we'll catch you in the next episode.
Cheers, guys.